On today's lesson, I'm going to teach you tactics and formations that scale all the way from the NCAA Division I championships down to the 3-0 level. So let's get started. All right, we got an awesome point to start here. Lots of good things, lots of positioning. We got a nice pinch, and now we've got a 2-back versus 2-up rally, lots of good sliding, and unfortunately, we brick a volley. Now, I want you to pay attention here to the net player. This is not a poach. He's just putting himself in the middle of the court where most returns go. He's balanced, his head is between his legs, and he's now made himself a factor in this point where he's going to touch the first ball. Now, he's got a decision. He can't really take this down the middle. There's not a net player to hit at his feet. He can go with his body weight, which we know he did. I would prefer him to hit this angle behind him for a winner. I know he might have to slide to cover the line, but I'll show you some examples of that later. Now let's talk about the net team in 2-up. We have to cover the line and we have to cover the middle. Now, I think the guy who's covering the middle here should be a little bit deeper. He's actually covering the angle because he's so close, but the lob is wide open. Now, from the baseliner side, what are his options? Obviously, he should be lobbing this cross court. But when you're going to hit ground strokes against 2-up, you either want to go through the middle or to the deepest net person who is the least amount of a threat. So right here, because the guy is so close in the middle of the court, it makes a ton of sense to go down the line with this to the deeper volleyer. We volley cross court, so we have to slide. Now our guy who was covering the line is covering middle. We do a middle volley, which is great, and we set it up perfectly. We just missed the volley, but really good point. This is a sick return down the line. A nice little ground stroke through the middle. Again, we got another 2-back versus 2-up. You're going to see some of these principles we just talked about. And we come up and smash a winner. What a great point. Now, when we've got a ground stroke against 2-back like we got right here, we've got 3 choices. We can go cross court, but then our net player is going to have to sprint back to the alley to cover the line, so he's moving away from the middle. I don't love that. He could go down the line, which would be great because the net player is already in a good spot for that. Or we can go middle to the backhand, which is the premium option. So when you go middle, neither player can run to the net on the near side because they don't know who's going to hit the ball. Also, when you're hitting a middle backhand, it's just a tougher shot to create angle off of. You get less spin on the backhand, so there's a lot less options. So I absolutely love this target here. And you can see from the middle of the court, he could try to pull that line, but it's a really tough shot. Now, what are we supposed to do? Middle or the deepest option? We went to the deepest option. Now they're about the same, so what do? We go middle again. Love it. And this is where most people mess up. They did the right thing twice, they didn't get anything out of it, and a lot of people would try and angle or lob here. My boy just goes back to the well, and he gets an easier ball. And then what does he do again? He goes right back to the well like an absolute legend and wins the point. I formation, great slice lob, and you're going to see exactly what we just talked about again. He tries to take that middle, and we get an air. Now, I want you to pay attention here. We got the forehand. He couldn't quite get it to the backhand, and you can see his partner is now running to the net because he never had to worry about getting that ball. So if he was to get this to the backhand, both players would be staying back. But again, hitting a ground stroke from the middle like that is so, so difficult. Let's watch this point right here. A great little close and a finish. Now, most people are petrified of getting beat down the line. I am mortified that I'm going to get beat right here where this ball is. This is the most common place where the ball will go. It's where I want my net players to be 90% of the time because look at this baseline ball. Our baseliner is absolute toast from that position, and the volleyer at the net does a great job putting one at the feet and closing it off. We got a good serve here, coming to the net, and this is a fundamental that I see all the time, even though we brick that volley. Most returns and most +1s go cross court. So right now, our net player should be pinching middle. It's a great return. This +1 is most likely to go cross court, but our guys still come to the net, no sweat. This is the one we make a little mistake on. This is probably going cross court, right? It's our +1, but we're sliding line away from the play. And this is the one where a lot of people make a mistake and actually poach. And when you're looking at this, we've already hit 2 balls cross court. Alarms start going off for the baseliner. They think you're going to do something, and this ball is actually very likely to go line by the 3rd option. Another point here. What a great return. Where does the +1 go? Cross, cross. And you can see literally the same exact thing we just talked about. This is where most returns go. Cross court, we should be pinching that middle. Great return. Our net player actually does a great job of looking for this ball. It's just an insane cross court shot. Look where this ball passes. I told you that's where we don't want to get beat. +1s usually go cross court, and we weren't ready for that. And now alarm bells are going off. He knows he should have been poached on last time. This is where it goes line, so you should probably stay if you haven't poached on the first or second ball. Nice little return. We got 2 up. Where should he go with this one? We know this ball should go middle, but guess what? He wasn't disciplined. He sees angle as an opening. He's going to try it. He's an NCAA Division I participant in the NCAA Team Championships, and he can't hit that shot. Great lob. And again, hopefully you're starting to see this before I freeze it, but we want to know where that target is. Where do you go against the 2 back? Where do these balls go on the +1s, the early balls? Lots of great reflexes here. Awesome point. All right, so let's play it back. Where is this target against 2 back? Hopefully middle backhand. We want to get that ball in the middle where there's less options. He obviously tried this. Now we got a guy coming in. Where do these +1s go? Cross court. But this is the 3rd ball, right? So what's going to happen here? We think it's going to go down the line. There it is. Now we're in a 2 up, 2 back. What do we want to do? Go to the deepest guy, which would be a little more down the line or middle. And our net player actually picked that off and did us a favor there. So I told you we were going to come back to this. This is the same thing. This is a nice little move in the middle. And again, he could go with his body weight. And I know this is a true poach this time, but it's just a lot easier to angle this thing off behind you. And yes, you would be trouble if you don't finish it. But if you practice this a lot, it's actually a very, very simple finish for most players. Same thing. Forehand in the middle, just angle this off. We don't have to go. It's easier because it's a forehand volley, but always easier to pull those volleys. This is such a great point. And this is where I know the guy on the far side in the deuce court has a high tennis IQ. Most people are going to pull their volleys. So when we see this, you can tell the baseliner is already leaning on that cross court. He knows what his job is, what he has to cover. So he's got a head start, which is why he's able to get all the way over here. Now, when we watch the net player, he's a little lazy after he hit the volley. So he hasn't backed up like we talked about, but he also hasn't closed the middle. You can see that massive alleyway there, and that's why he's a little late on that volley. I formation fundamentals. What an absolute peach right here. Now, you know that I love when you stand I formation, you want to shade to the side you're serving to. You do not want to straddle the service line. So right now when we freeze it, they're both on the same side of the court, which is absolutely fantastic. And the net player is super balanced. So this return actually goes line, which he shouldn't be covering, but he's there. Now, on the near side, I would love this player to realize the ball is low and it's probably going cross court, which means he needs to be taking off and trying to get that angle. In this case, it probably wouldn't have mattered, but it's a very predictable volley. Great return. We got a little 2 up. And look, that ball goes through the middle. We win the point there, right? When we play this back and we go I formation, I hate doing I formation and covering line because you're running away from the middle of the court, which is right where this return went. So most of the time you go I, you're going to want the net player to cover the cross-court return. Great wide serve. You saw this one in the intro. Absolutely sick shot. And again, I mentioned my boy's tennis IQ. You can see he reads the game so well. Little lucky on the net cord. Look where he's standing. He's already up in the court. Why? Because the ball is below the net. He knows his partner has line in middle because the opponent's going to have to hit up on the ball. The only ball he's going to have to cover is an angle. So he's already ready for it, and that's why he gets such a quick jump. Now on the far side, we're in the same exact situation. It's the same ball, except our opponent from Auburn doesn't quite read it as well. He's off balance to the middle and gets roasted for this nice angle right behind him. Great shot, though. Nice little lefty serve. Good pickoff. I mean, look at that. Absolutely textbook. So again, is this a poach? It is not, right? Our server's on the same side. We just do a great job of pinching. Now, I talked about volleying behind you for an angle winner, but because he's so stretched, he kind of has to go with his body weight, which is totally fine. Right here, where does this ball go? Middle to the backhand side. Absolutely textbook, and you can see the confusion over there. I formation, we're shading to the side we're serving to. Nice little forehand volley cross court. Absolutely textbook. So look where we are. We're on the same side of the net. And again, this is what I talked about earlier. We don't want to go through the middle. We don't want to go with body weight. Just angle it off. Easy winner. So if you learned something today, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. But again, these tactics and formations scale all the way from the NCAA Division I championships down to the 3-0 level.